how many of you guys like science?
Me.
Wow, that's a lot more than I expected. How many of you guys like sports?
Me.
All right. Well, I get to combine sports with science.
Yes.
Okay. How many of you guys watch baseball? Okay. How about football? All right. Basketball? All right. Tennis too? Yeah, tennis?
Yeah.
All right. I don't work with tennis players.
Volleyball.
Volleyball? Yep. Soccer? Yeah. So all of those sports that you watch on TV, and you watch the Braves, and you watch the Falcons and the Hawks, they all have sports scientists on their staffs. Okay? Most colleges also have it. Some high schools do. So I'm the strength coach at Walton High School. All right. We use some of the science stuff, but we don't use the technology part. All right. The technology part I use with certain athletes on the side. Okay. Let me move the slides here. All right. So here are the teams. Some of the teams that I've gotten to work with. All right. We've got Walton. Last summer, I was fortunate and got to spend some time with the Braves AAA team in Gwinnett. I got to coach with Kennesaw State's football. All right. How many of you guys like them? All right, good. Good. And then some Team USA athletes. I've actually gotten to compete on Team USA 5 times in the sport of weightlifting. All right, which Lee's going to demonstrate a little bit later. And then we also used to own Atlanta Strength and Conditioning, a gym, where I work one-on-one with some athletes, including some of the Atlanta United soccer players. Okay. All right. So, STEM, you guys know what STEM stands for. Can somebody tell me?
Oh,
What does it stand for?
science, technology, engineering, and math.
Way to go, Jordan.
Perfect. All right, so everything in the weight room is going to involve science to some capacity. Okay? When I was your age, I didn't like science. I never expected to be using it for a job. But as technology increased and we got more and more technology, the science side of sports got bigger. Okay? So the science that we use on a regular basis at Walton is physics. All right, in the weight room. So force production, speed, and acceleration all make athletes really good. All right, so if you're watching the Falcons or Kennesaw State football or the Patriots or whatever football team you like, and you see somebody make a really big tackle, all right, they generated a lot of force and power to be able to tackle somebody running in the opposite direction. All right, if somebody on the Braves, when Acuna steals a base, he's using speed. Right, the faster that the Braves can make Acuna, the more bases he can steal, so possibly the more runs he can score. Okay, does that make sense to everybody? All right, so my job is to make sure that the Walton athletes and the other athletes that I work with become stronger and faster, and I use science for that. Okay, so can everybody stand up? Including you, stand up. All right. All right, so if I ask you guys to, when I asked you to stand up, you guys just automatically did that, right? Nobody had to think how to stand up, right? Now, if I ask you guys to take one step forward, don't do it yet, don't do it yet. All right, if I ask you guys to take one step forward, put a knee on the ground, and have your knees, or have your legs bent at a perfect angle like that, most of you guys are going to have to think about how to do that, right? Go ahead and try it.
It's easy. I didn't think.
Okay, did any of you guys have to think, okay, I'm going to step out with my leg and lower myself to the ground?
No.
No? Nobody did? All right, let's make it a little bit harder then. All right, now, hang on, go back down, go back down. Lee, go ahead, you do it too. All right, now if I say I want you guys to jump from this position as high as you can, open your hips up, and land with the other foot. Are you going to have to think how to do that?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you are.
No, I won't because I do this at my gymnastics.
Okay, well, all right, perfect. What's your name?
Georgia.
Georgia, perfect. So you've done this many times, so you don't have to think about it.
Me
All right, so do you, and I know Finley has too. All right, so that is called muscle memory. Okay, so how many times do you think you've done that?
Well,
You guys can sit back down now.
Well, I do it almost every single Tuesday, Thursday, Friday because I do gymnastics Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, 2 hours.
2 hours? Okay, so you've done it a lot.
Yeah, I've
Right.
done it.
So by Georgia doing that so much, her brain has developed patterns to be able to do it without having to think about it. Okay? Generally about 10,000 repetitions is what it takes for something to become completely natural. All right, so you guys have stood up probably 10,000 times, right? Don't stand up. You guys have probably done that about 10,000 times in your life. So it's automatic. Okay, Georgia's done a lunge jump, probably close to that, with gymnastics 3 times a week. All right, so it's natural for her. So that comes down with the science, all right? We're developing motor neuron connections. The faster I can develop those for my athletes, the faster they're going to be able to react. The faster they can react, the better they're going to perform on the field or on the court. Okay? Physiology. All right, that's a big word. You guys probably haven't heard that before. It's a big part of sports science. All right? We collect a lot of data on this using technology, which is on the next slide. Things that we want to measure is oxygen in the muscles. All right? If I can put a muscle oxygen sensor on one of my athletes, I can tell when they're getting tired. Okay? Think about if they're in a basketball game and I've got a computer in front of me that tells me that they're running low on muscle oxygen. I can tell the coach to pull them out of the game, that they need to rest. Okay, so we can always have fresh athletes in the game. All right, heart rate data. Lee's going to demonstrate this in a little bit. All right, when I put a heart rate monitor on him, I can use that to tell when somebody's warmed up and they're ready to compete in the game. I can tell when they need to recover, and I can tell when they are recovered, just based on the heart rate. Okay? On other heart rate data, there's a thing called HRV, which, when it's low, that's when my athletes need to take a rest. They need to, if it's super low, they might need a whole day off, where they don't do any training. Okay? Which that gets into the recovery. Bone density. So this relates directly to you guys. All right? Back when I was a kid, when I was your age, there was a thought that doing resistance training, like with weights, was bad for children, that it would stunt their growth. However, since technology's improved, we've gotten more studies that show that it grows bone density. Okay? So you guys know Lee, all right?
Yeah.
He lifts weights. All right, he thinks it's fun just to lift with Daddy. But he's actually, the reason I'm having him do it is it stimulates bone density, bone growth. So when he's playing on the playground or he's in a soccer game or a baseball game, he's got less of a chance of breaking a bone. All right, so part of my job is also injury prevention. Okay? That gets into the growth factors. Energy pathways, I'm not going to really talk about that too much with you guys because it's more advanced for kindergarten. But basically, you've got different types of sports. All right, you've got long sports that are aerobic, and you've got short ones that are anaerobic. All right, aerobic is with oxygen. All right, that's where I'd be looking at the muscle oxygen readings that I mentioned before. So when Lee lifts a weight, which he's not going to do yet, but when he does, he's on the anaerobic side. All right, when somebody's playing soccer and they're running a long distance, they're on the aerobic side. So we have to factor that in when we do training programs in the gym. Okay, because you want to train the athletes for the type of sport that they're in. Here's just a couple of examples of technology that we use for science. So this measures acceleration and speed on a bar. So the bar looks like this. Well, this is a smaller bar. All right. So we put the strap right here, and it would measure how fast the bar goes from the ground up to the air. All right. So the faster he can move the bar, the more power he's generating, the more force production he's got. Okay. This one down here tells the readiness level of an athlete to train. All right, so this is actually the device that was connected to this. So I can look at this, and if we're right now at 10:30 in the morning, this athlete is ready to train. Okay, if we were more around like 5 o'clock, you can see the green dots lower. That means that that would not be an optimal time for this athlete to train. So if I want to get the best performance out of him, I'm going to train him when the green dots are higher. Okay? That technology will also tell me how this athlete's sleeping, the time that they're sleeping, and the quality of sleep they're sleeping. Okay? This one over here, I mentioned the HRV. This athlete, this was me when I needed a rest day. HRV is kind of low there. Generally, for being fresh, we want to see that around like 40 to maybe 40 to 60 for a normal athlete. Okay, and that's taken directly off of this device, the Apple Watch. Any questions on the science side? Okay, science is going to kind of be involved in every slide. All right, technology. Kind of what I just mentioned here. This device here is what we put on athletes to measure the oxygen level in their muscles. All right, and I talked about these. Other types of monitoring or technology that we use to monitor, we can use a force plate, which it looks like a scale. How many of you guys have scales at home that has a dial on it? Okay, not too many. Some of you guys do. Have you ever? Lee, stop. Sit down. Have any of you ever stood on that scale and tried to make that dial move? Yeah? Okay, Finley, how do you do it?
Never.
All right, so do you know how to do it?
Yeah. You stand up and you push your knees down.
Perfect.
And like I have 2 scales
Two?
at home. Yeah.
Okay, but the push down, that's the answer I was looking for. All right, so he's applying force directly down to the ground to make that scale move. All right. Similarly, a force plate looks kind of like a scale, and it measures how much you're pushing down on the ground. All right. To do that, by pushing down on the ground, that's how we generate power to come up. So it's very important for athletes. Acceleration, recovery, we've already talked about. Body mass. All right. We use body mass technology to tell how much muscle an athlete's adding. Okay, some sports don't want a lot of muscle. Some sports do want a lot of muscle. Okay, so for a football player, should they have a lot of muscle or not?
Yes.
Yes. What about a soccer player?
Yes. No.
Maybe, depending on their position. All right, they don't want to be too big, but they also need to be strong. All right. GPS, we can track running. All right. How many of your parents go out for a run? All right. Do a lot of them put something on their wrist and they can watch how far they go? Okay. Similarly, so Atlanta United, they use GPS to track their soccer players. Okay. So for example, do you guys know who Joseph Martinez is? No. Some of you guys do?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. He's one of their top players. A lot of times he comes out of the game early. Okay. Now, I can take an educated guess based on the science and technology on why he's coming out of the game. Probably because he's covered a lot of distance using the GPS and his muscle oxygen levels are low. All right, so it shows that he's fatigued. And then other kind of technology that we use, all right, baseball, bat speed. Have you guys heard the people on TV talk about a batter's bat speed?
Oh yeah, bat speed.
Right. Okay. So the faster Acuna can swing that bat when he makes contact, potentially the farther the ball's going to go, right? So we want to get bat speed up faster for baseball players. So we work on that quite a bit. Any questions on the technology part?
No.
No? Okay. Engineering. All right. This is the part that is least used in my field. All right, on a day-to-day basis where we have to actually think about it. All right, equipment is engineered quite a bit. Fortunately, I don't have to engineer the equipment. All right. For example, you guys are a very different size than I am, right?
Yeah.
So would it be fair for us to use the same bar to lift weight?
No.
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 All right, most of you probably wouldn't be able to lift the full-size bar.
I can.
I don't know about that.
I can.
All right, look, but most of you can probably pick up this bar. All right, this bar weighs about 11 pounds. All right, a full-size bar weighs 45 pounds. All right, so the barbell companies engineered specific bars for people your size. Okay, other things that they engineered: special shoes. Okay, when you want to apply a lot of force directly to the ground, you want to jump off of push off of a hard surface. All right, so if I take my other shoe off here, you guys can see a pretty good difference here. All right, which one looks softer? The blue one, right? And this one's harder. So if I want to run really fast, or if I want to run a long distance, which shoe do you think I should use?
The
Blue one.
For sure.
All right, less impact. Now, if I want to be explosive, which shoe should I use?
The other one.
The hard one, exactly. All right, so we've engineered different equipment for different sports. Other stuff, a hex bar. I planned on bringing in a hex bar. With the rain, I wasn't able to because I drive a truck and I can't get it wet. And I only had so much room. But a hex bar was created because a lot of people were hurting their backs doing deadlifts. Okay, deadlift is where you pick something off the ground and you stand up with it. Okay, so people were getting hurt because the weight was in front of them, so they created a bar that you stand in and the handles are on the side and you pick it up like that. Okay, so it's safer for the athletes. All right, so a lot of the engineering in this field has come to help the athlete safety out. All right, speaking of safety, here's two of our Walton basketball players. We're doing squats. This is in our weight room at our school. All right, we have can you guys see this strap right here?
Yeah.
All right, that's a safety strap. So if he's lifting without a spotter, both of these guys here's baseball over here and here's basketball. They're both using a spotter. But if for some reason the spotter's not paying attention, which in high school it does happen, okay, the guys with the weights are going to be safe because these straps are going to catch them. Okay.
It's like if the bar slips out of their hand, let's say.
Exactly.
Then that strap would not let it fall.
It's not going to fall on the ground. It's not going to bounce. And if the athlete were to fall backwards, the bar won't land on them.
Gotcha.
Okay. A lot of schools, we're very fortunate at Walton. A lot of schools don't have this.
Yeah,
A lot of high schools don't.
very many.
A lot of high schools don't have this. Question.
What if he falls back and gets hurt?
Well, he won't because the strap. Well, number one, he should catch it. All right.
With a partner.
If he's not, if for some reason he's not there, or he starts talking to somebody else, which happens with high school, these straps would catch the bar, and Ryan would basically just sit on the floor. Okay.
The little one
So are they adjustable? Do those
Yes.
straps go up
Yes, they are. So,
and down?
Sornix makes these where that's the brand.
Listen.
They make these where, for a squat, if you can't really tell at this angle, but this side is higher than this side. So if Ryan did dump the weight on the strap, the bar will actually roll away from him. All right. So if you were benching, for example, which is where you're laying on a bench and you're pressing the weight up, you would have it a little bit more drastic like that. So the straps will catch it and the bar rolls towards your feet instead of your neck. All right. Again, we're fortunate that we have this at Walton. All right, here's a soccer player. This is Liam. He's doing what's called a Bulgarian split squat. He's got a pad that they engineered to go over his foot. All right, most gyms that you would do this exercise in, you would use a chair or a bench to do it. All right. However, again, we're fortunate, and we've got the pads, and the pads actually roll. All right, so there's no stress on his foot here, and he's able to put all of the work into this leg to get stronger. Okay. And again, this is kind of science on this. All right, a soccer player, generally in their sport, they're on 1 foot running, right? So we want to train on 1 foot running. Okay. Do you have a question? Yeah, I have a question. All right. Any questions on this part? Yes.
In my house, my dad has like little things.
He doesn't do it? You tell him to do it.
Let Dad know. He's been called out.
Yeah? Well, tell him to use it. All right. All right. Let's go on to the next slide. All right. Math. My least favorite subject in high school and college. All right.
Oh, you're not gonna read all of them.
Fortunately for me, my math, all right, I've always got a calculator, but fortunately for me, my math comes in colors. Okay? I don't have it up there, but most places, all right, a 55-pound plate is red, a 45-pound plate is blue, 35 is yellow, 25 is green. Okay? So I can look at bars and I can tell how much weight's on it just by the color. All right. However, where I do have to do math, all right, this is a typical program, kind of how we write it. We have a big whiteboard at school, and I'll write per sport all their workouts. But here, so this athlete's going to do back squats. Okay. Here's how many reps they're going to do. Now it says 30 to 35%. Okay. Does anybody know what that means?
No.
No.
No way.
All right. So we have to test. We test our athletes. All right. Do you guys take tests yet? No? Yes? All right. How do you guys take a test? How do you guys take a test? Do you have a pencil and you have to write?
Sometimes.
All right. In the weight room, that's not what we do. Okay, in the weight room, our test is performance. All right. So if Lee's my athlete, don't do it. But if Lee's my athlete and it's test day, we're going to see how much he can lift. All right. So if we're doing a squat, we'll start warming up, which he's actually about to start warming up pretty soon, and I'll explain that. We'll warm them up, and then we're going to incrementally, or I don't know the word I'm looking for. Is that right?
Yeah.
Incrementally? Increase the weight until they can't do it anymore, until the bar hits the straps.
So it's kind of like when we're testing reading, and we might give you one book, and we say, oh, that was too easy for you, let's get one that's a little bit harder, until we find one that's just too hard. So it's kind of the same thing. He's looking to see, okay, those weights were easy to lift, let's see how far we can go until the athlete just can't do it anymore.
Right. Now, with the younger athletes, all right, middle school age, we don't test them for 1 rep. We test them for 3 to 5 reps. All right, reason being, it's not that important to find out what they can do. We can project, using math, we can project what their estimated 1 rep would be. All right, there's a whole formula for that. How much can you back squat? Put you on the spot. Do you remember?
The reds.
How many?
Up to the reds and whites.
Reds and the whites. All right. So he can back squat about 40 pounds for three reps. So I would plug that 40 pounds into the formula, and it's going to come up with about 48 pounds that he would be able to do 1 time. All right. However, given his age, I'm not going to have him do a 1 rep max. Okay. Any questions on that?
No.
No questions on that?
I just want to say I'm getting hungry.
You're getting hungry? All right.
Mr. Romano, you have about 10
Yeah,
minutes.
Someone
Bridget,
else?
your
Okay.
tummy's
All right.
grumbling.
I think the last slide is coming up. All right. So demonstration. All right. Lee, hit 3. All right. Lee's gonna do a hang on, let's move this. Lee's gonna demonstrate a hang clean. All right, which is what we use for football in season.
Yeah, everyone will be able to see if you sit on your
Yep.
bottoms.
All right.
Okay?
Let him do this, and I'll explain why we're doing it. Okay.
Okay, sit on your bottom.
Good.
Carrots on your bottom.
2 more.
He can barely hold that with his neck.
Yeah,
He's not
okay.
going with
Go
his
through that.
neck.
Let's go greens. All right. All right. So this movement, we use it for most sports. All right. It's a very good way to generate power production. All right. Now there's a lot of different ways you can generate power. All right. Just like there's a lot of different ways that you can go from here to New York. Right? Can somebody tell me how you can do that? How can you go to New York from here? You fly a plane. All right. What's another way you can do it? Stand over. A car.
Sit down on your
All
bottom.
right.
Train.
A train. Okay.
Silas, sit your bottom.
How?
Airplane. Box.
Yep.
A boat.
Alright, a boat, okay. A boat, you can't think of, you can't think of both. Okay, alright, Lee, 2 more, or 3 more.
Train full of
Here in
cats.
mine, on your bottom.
Alright, so he's gonna do 3 more. Alright, go ahead. want to go yellows or what do you want to do? Yellows? Alright. Alright. So, the plane's going to be the fastest way to get to New York. Right? But you could take a car.
Of course you can.
Alright, you could walk, right? It's gonna be slower, but you could do it. So there's a lot of different ways to generate this. This is just the movement that does it the fastest. Okay? Now, he's warming up. Alright? Does anybody know why you have to warm up before you do anything?
Yeah.
Georgia?
Because you have to warm up before you do anything. Because if you warm up, it teaches you more things before you play.
That's true. Okay, that's not the answer I'm looking for, but that is true. Alright? The reason that you have to warm up is you have to create blood flow to the muscles that are going to be used. Okay? If I just threw these red plates on, it's light enough for him. He might be able to do it. He might not. Alright? But it would be difficult for him. But if we build up gradually, it's going to be easy for him to do it. Go ahead, Lee. 3.
Liam.
Remember, I said each color plate is a different weight.
So they're getting heavier
Yep.
each time he changes.
Do you want to put the whites or the reds? Reds. All right, go ahead. All right. It's also progressively. All right. By adding the weights.
I hope we're giving our attention to Mr. Romano so we can learn about this.
You got a question?
Oh yes.
All right. By adding weights gradually too, his body's adapting to the weight, so it's not going to feel as heavy as if you just went ahead and started with the heavier weight. All right.
Excuse me, Mr. Romano.
Yeah.
How many pounds is that right now?
This is 22 pounds. 22 pounds.
Wow.
He's done 32 before from the floor. All right. Now, as weight gets heavier, okay. If we go back a few slides.
Here, Mike, on your bottom. Long.
Recovery. All right. If we go back to the recovery. All right. Well, that's not technology. All right. So I would be looking. I forgot to put the heart rate monitor on him. All right. But I would be looking at his heart rate right now. All right. If his heart rate's in a certain zone, all right, for a high school athlete, you know, I'd be looking to make sure it's around 100 to 110 before he takes his next set. Because as he's working, his heart's got to generate, it's got to pump more blood to the muscles, so the heart rate's going to go up.
Lower.
Okay? Have any of you guys worn a Fitbit or any kind of heart rate monitor? Yeah? Okay. Yeah, but you're not wearing it. All right. So in the sports science world, that's how we look at it to see if he's ready to take the next set. All right. He's done this a lot. He lifts with me quite a bit. I can pretty much tell when he's ready, and he probably is ready right now. So if you want to go ahead and hit that 3 times.
Whoa. How did you do that? It's easy.
No, it's not magic. Don't
It's
talk.
magic.
Go ahead. Hit one more. One more about what just happened. All right, go ahead and put it down.
It's easy.
All right, now, did you guys notice on that second one, he took a step forward?
Yeah, it's muscle.
All right. Does anybody know why that happened?
Why? Because it's heavy.
No.
It's talking.
Because he was talking. All right. I have to get on my high schoolers all the time about bracing. Okay. So you've got muscles here in your core. All right. To lift a weight properly and safely, you've got to tighten those muscles. Okay. If you talk or if you breathe during the rep, all right, your rib cage comes down, bar's going to come forward. Okay? So it's important, he knows better than to do that. All right, we're going to do one more set of 3 in a second here. All right, and I'm going to cue him, and you're going to see how much faster it goes. Okay? You ready? You want to do 2 more? All right. Now, I want you to apply a lot of that force down to the ground. Make your feet snappy.
Do it with one hand.
Okay, one more. Good. All right, now. Alright, so by cueing him to do that, he ended up pushing down on that scale a little bit harder to make that dial move.
And
Okay.
he was reading.
Huh?
And he was reading.
Well, he didn't breathe during it. When he brought the weight back down, then he took a breath. Right? But when the bar was going up, he didn't breathe. Or when he squatted, he didn't breathe. Okay? Alright, are there any questions? No? Alright, so that movement is what we use to generate the power production of the force. Alright, now, we do this in season with football, and we do it in season with most other sports too. Alright, because we don't want them to take away from the ground. Do you want to show a deadlift real quick? Alright, go ahead, just do it. Do the deadlift portion. Alright, that's the deadlift that I was talking about before. So if you notice, the weight was in front of him, then he picked it up to here. Now this is very lightweight for a deadlift. Alright, you can deadlift a lot more than you can bring to your shoulders. Alright, but the safer way to do it would be using what's called a hex bar that he can pick up from here and stand up. Alright, we talked about that with the engineering part. Yes? No, you don't need to. No. You're demonstrating, you're not working out. Alright, any questions?
No.
No?
No.
Alright, did you guys all learn something?
So it
Yeah.
sounds like,
I didn't even say
it sounds like when you're working with the athletes, it's more than just having them lift weights. You have to think about a lot of stuff so they can get their best performance and stay safe. Absolutely. Because if you get hurt, can you keep working out?
No.
No, that would put you back on making progress.
I got it.
There's a lot of science in that.
How could you pick that up with the big one?
How? He's done a lot of practice. He started doing this when what were you, 3 when I let you use the bar? You used plastic until 3?
Yeah, I can do it.
But see, now, for him, all right, when we talk about that muscle memory that we talked about when Georgia was talking about the lunges, right? Did you think about anything when you picked that up and you cleaned it? Or did you just do it? You just did it. Because he's done so many times, if I say to do a clean, he just goes to the bar and does it. All right? But when you're first learning how to do it, we've got to break it up into stages. All right? I wish I couldn't get videos to work on here, but there's a technology problem, all right, or user error, one of the two. I couldn't get the videos up here, but there are ways that we teach this movement, and we break it down to make it easier for the athletes to learn it. Okay, so we'll do a catch phase first, where we just work on this. All right, Finley's done this stuff, right? Then we'll do a deadlift, and then we put them together.
No, I know.
You done the plastic ones.
Do you know my name?
I don't know your name. What's your name? Liam? Liam?
He's on my bus. Yeah,
Alright.
sometimes he's on my bus.
Okay. Sometimes, yeah. All right.
Listen.
All right. Well, hopefully you guys learned something today. All right.
What do we say to Mr. Romano for coming? Oh, let's use our manners. Let's use our manners. All right, thank you so much. Please stay up there. I want to get a picture of you and your dad for us, okay? Watch out your head, baby.